Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we're taking a look at ban list season. We're right in there. We already talked about the cards that I think will most likely get hit on this upcoming ban list. I don't think it's going to be a very big ban list in terms of the cards that go on the list. So I do think there's a higher chance on lists like this where more cards end up coming off because Konami still wants the ban list to feel like there are some significant changes. And so sometimes they'll do it in that fashion rather than the stuff that actually does get hit. So today we're talking cards that I think can come off the list. We're going over banned cards and also a couple that are on at one. I think there's other cards that are at one that like you could talk about, but like they're dumb. Like there's jar cards and shit that like those could be unbanned tomorrow and there'd be no problem with them. So I just didn't throw all of them on there. I threw the ones that I thought were like more interesting to talk about, at least for the most part, or at least that I was interested in, and threw them on here. So let's get into this thing. Let's start with the banned cards. Obviously, if you look at the tiers here, we have the stuff that can be unbanned, no problem. We have the stuff where I have slight hesitation on, where I want to unban it, but then I think to myself, "Oh, that is a little bit interesting. That maybe it's a little bit scary. Maybe wait another year." And then there's stuff where it's like scary, like truly terrifying. And then there's the no way, like no way, no how. I don't want no in any fashion. So let's get into this thing. Let's start off with the bans here. Looking at branded expulsion. This is no problem with the banning of the gimmick puppet and the Jaugen the Spiritualist. Like the targets for this are just worse. They could still play it, but like, are they going to play the Ra's Disciple? It's not nearly as powerful as the other two. I think this is fine. I think this is, man, actually, you know what? I'd put slight hesitation on it because there is stuff like Ra's Disciple. I would put hesitation on it, but like, you could still probably release it. Branded is only, even though it's been slow, Branded has been slowly getting power crept out of the game. Next up here, Heavy Storm. This one's no problem. At least to put it at one. I wouldn't say you can put this at three, no problem, but you can at least get this off the ban list in full capacity and at least get it to one, no problem. I don't see a problem with this and Harpy's Feather Duster being at one. I think that's totally fine. MX Saber Invoker, I'm not going to lie, it's a little bit scary to me. I still think you could release this one. And it's not even necessarily scary with what it does right now. I'd say it's actually a little bit more scary in terms of the future, in terms of card design. Like when it comes to Earth Warriors or Earth Beast Warriors, like this card does limit card design going forward a little bit, right? But it seems like it could be pretty good for Goki. Seems like it could be pretty good for Six Samurai. I think that's fine. It's more so like the crazy stuff down the line in terms of card design that could get a little bit dicey. So I don't know. I'd put it in scary a little bit, but it's not too crazy. Degusto Emerald, this could come off. This could actually go to three. I have no problem with that. People can draw three in modern day. If you're gonna have to use six bodies to do it, I think that's actually fine. And plus, who's going to make three open spots for a card like this? Just drawing one card off of a rank 4 just is not enough payoff anymore. It's just not going to make the cut. Electromite. I would say Electromite's still scary to me. I think I still would be okay. I think these are similar cards to me. You could release both of these and I'd still be like, okay, are you sure? And then I'd be like, yeah, it's still probably okay. Maybe these categories are kind of blending together a little bit, but it is like maybe nuance where this is just a little bit more scary than the hesitation category. But yeah, all it takes is one really good pendulum deck to make Electromite feel crazy again. So we're on that. No problem with Summon Sork. This is under the precedent that, of course, Summon Sork has her errata. Without the errata, I do not want this whatsoever, but like when the errata gets printed, like this is done tomorrow, no problem. Dryden, I have no problem with Dryden. I don't even have hesitation on Dryden. Dryden should have never been banned from Zodiac in the first, well, okay, originally maybe it should have been banned, but when it got brought back and then got banned again because of Zodiac Tri Brigade, that was bullshit. That was just Konami trying to kick the can down the road on banning the Samorg link. And so they banned this instead. And when they banned the Samorg link, they should have immediately released this. It's stupid that this is even on here. This could be at 3. I'd have no problem with it at all. It is such a fair card. It's fine. Masterpiece, no problem. No, slight hesitation just because it's a Towers-esque monster, but release it tomorrow. I'm fine with it. Just, Towers monsters you have to have slight hesitation over, but I think it's fine. I'd be cool with this. Glow Bulb, no problem. This is a Halky Fibrex card, which is now banned. Without Halk, this card has no reason to be on here, aside from having slight fear of Naturia Beast in very, very specific decks. And other than that, this card does not matter. Fiber Jar, no problem. Or this is Fiber Jar, I think. Yeah, this card is ass. Like, it's slow, it's ashable. Like, what are we talking about with this card? Like, get this card out of here. This card does not need to be on the list whatsoever. Brilliant Fusion. This is like, if I could exclaim even more craziness than no problem, a Brilliant Fusion needs to be on here. The OCG has this at 1 and Block Dragon at 1 for Gem Knights, and the deck is still mid. Like, it's pretty decent, but it's not that good. It's not that good. So I would love for this to come back. I think this could even potentially come back in multiples if Konami's going to do maybe one on this ban list, maybe a second one on the next ban list. I don't know. But like, that would be awesome. Gem Knights need a card like this. They don't really have their own payoffs, so they have to take advantage of generic stuff. And so they do have their own like drawbacks, but this card would be a really, really nice addition to their engine to keep them in a solid position. Okay, looking down the rest here, I think I only have two more bands, three more bands. Sorry. Maxi, this is my first no way. And maybe, well, one of my few only no ways. I'll be honest, with the Mulcharmies, I think they've done a good job at kind of sealing the format from being crazy in a healthy way where it's like, okay, it helps with decks going second, but it doesn't make decks overly broken going first. A lot of people still main stuff like Fool Loss and side the others. I think it does a good job at slowing the game down enough where it's been actually relatively healthy. Whereas Maxi is just, fuck Maxi. I don't want it. Anybody who wants it at this point, I feel like you're overreaching on it. Now that we have the Mulcharmies, I feel like we get 60% of what Maxi provides without the worst negative parts of Maxi. So I'm into it. I like it. For me, I would love for Maxi to stay away. Hulk. I'm gonna put Hulk in no way. I agree with this, but I will say I have a particular opinion about Hulk, and maybe it's not right now. Maybe it's too soon. But what they should do is they should errata Hulk so that way it's actually a Crystron card, and then release it off the ban list. Now, maybe the issue right now is that, Crystron is a respectable rogue deck right now. It got made top 64 in YCS Birmingham, or Birmingham. Sorry, I'm not super keen on the name there, but it has a handful of regional tops already since it got its new support. It is a relatively respectable deck competitively, but those decks phase out pretty quickly. And so if you're telling me a year from now, they look at a ban list and they go, how can we spruce up this ban list? Errata for Hulk to make it only special summon Crystron tuners from deck instead of any tuner. Boom, release it. And it's actually like a really nice addition to Crystron. I think that would be sick. A sick way to keep Crystrons like keeping up with the modern formats. And that'd be really, really cool. And the last ban here I have is Prank Kids Meow Meow Mew. I have the slightest hesitation. This deck was very good. It has one card lines, and combining it with generic engines is possible, but I do think overall it should still come off the list. It's powerful, and honestly, also if you put it to 1, it's even more fair because in the grind, Prank Kids without a second copy of this can potentially not even be able to play. So I think taking this off the list is probably fine, but slight hesitation for it. And then we get into the cards that are at 1. No problem taking, oh my God, Change of Heart, Jesus, off the list. We have 3, Mind Control, Mind Control, non-once per turn. Why can we not have 3 of this? I get it, kind of power creeps Mind Control from seeing play. If you're going to play 3, you probably play 3 of this. Just has less restrictions, but yeah, like just no problem. You could draw all 3, and everybody on the planet probably be okay with that. Naturia Sacred Tree, again, no problem whatsoever. This card needs to be off the list. Why did Naturia even get punished for the runic sins? Just doesn't make sense. Phantom Sky Blaster, no problem whatsoever. This card is so fine, takes your normal summon. All it does is give you a couple tokens. I get it, you can do some generic link climbing stuff, but that the stuff you get is just not as powerful as what actual engines do these days. So this is totally fine to me. I have no problem with that. Zodiac Trident, or Zodiac, Barrage. This card is so fine. How many archetypes these days? Like Punk just uses non once per turn E-Telly, right? Um, quick launch, uh, stuff like Fiendsmith Tracked, just being able to like add Lurie, discard Lurie, and it basically was E-Telly for Lurie. You know what I mean? Like E-Telly type cards just exist in like modern day archetypes all over the place, or broken search spells. Those cards are just all over the place. This card is hard once per turn. If it wasn't hard once per turn, I'd kind of get it, but like it's hard once per turn. The deck literally can't put bodies on the field without normal summon. Like without normal summoning. So like this is the only card that allows them to really like get that done. I think this makes a ton of sense. Give this to him. I love it. Monster Reborn. I have the slightest hesitation over this card, but it's not much. I think more so than anything, Konami actually likes having this card on the ban list, not because it actually sees play or would see a lot of play if it was at more than one, but it's more so just the fact that it's cool. This card is so nasty and broken, and it's from the anime that it has to be on the ban list at one. It really doesn't, because people don't even choose to play this as an extender anyway. It could be a kind of powerful card if we're in like a very heavy format on like specific decks that like play a lot of mirrors, and just being able to take your opponent's monsters to use your own can be pretty strong. Like Fiendsmith, right? Take an opponent's light fiend from grave, and this is one card Fiendsmith combo, which is cool, but I'm not that worried about it. Next up here, I have Unchained Shavara. I'll put this in hesitation. I don't think it's scary enough for me to put it in the actual scary category, but I think it's like, I'd hesitate slightly just because like one format ago, Ubel was like a really scary deck. And now to release it like basically one format later is rough. Now, I do think this helps like pure Unchained more so than it helps stuff like Ubel. Ubel just really struggles with Mulcharmies, which are all over the place. That's why they haven't had that much success at higher level events. But I love this card so much. I love Unchained so much. It hurts that this card isn't available to them. Maybe we need to wait a little longer on it. So I'd have a little bit of hesitation on it, but yeah, for me, it's fine. And then lastly, we have Snake Eye cards. I actually have both Ash and Poplar here. I'd be fine with both of these going back to 3. This may be a little divisive because we're like one format removed from Snake Eye format, but like if the hit was always going to be original, they never need to hit anything else. In fact, before they hit these, actually, instead of, before they hit original, uh, we had one YCS, and Riziel and Malice blew Snake Eye and Ubel like out of the water. So like they kind of proved that they already were the power creep. They already were better than this deck. And you took away this deck's ability to, reach into other parts of like payoff that they just can't even get anymore. And that's what makes these feel totally fine to me. I really don't feel like they're that crazy overall. So there you go. There's my list of everything. Again, I didn't talk about every card at one that I thought was relevant. There were so many like stupid ones that would have gone in no problem, like so quick. I just talked about the ones I thought were interesting, and then all of the banned cards that I thought were actually unbannable in some way, or at least worth talking about. So here we go. Listen, yeah, it's important to keep in mind they're never going to do this many. They may use a couple more of these than normal, just because you do expect this to be a smaller list. But like the big ones I'm most hopeful for, stuff like the Zodiac cards, both Trident and Barrage, would be really cool. I want them to get to Broad Bull and Rat Pier at some point, but those cards probably need erratas to kind of come off because they're non once per turn generic searchers, like just and non once per turn, like one of the two. I would really want to see Brilliant Fusion. I think this card is so right. This card needs to come off for Gemini. It would help just give that extra little oomph of hype there. That's it for like the stuff in the no problem category. For hesitation, I'd love to see Meow Meow Mew. I love Prank Kids, and I'd love to be able to mess with them again. This is the one card from this tier that I would love to see. And then out of here, throw MX Samer Invoker in there. I think there's some cool stuff you can do with this card. Again, future proof. stuff makes me worrisome. Same thing with Electromite, just like pendulum decks going forward. But like, I'd still love to see these because I feel like I could make cool use of them. And then Hulk, give them the errata, man, or just at least I hope that's their plan long term. But we'll see. But I'm out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, guys, let me know your thoughts down below on these. Which of these would you be most hyped to see come off the list? If the list is smaller and it's not going to change the format that much, what would you want to see from unbans to kind of help add a little extra hype to something like a ban list this time around? I'd love to hear what you think there. But I'm out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, guys, subscribe to the channel for more things from me down the line, and I'll keep you up to date on all things Yu-Gi-Oh news going forward. Thanks for watching. Peace.